Today I will be showing my parents and my friend how to connect two monitors to one computer. My name is Hardie and I have two monitors and one computer. I've had this computer set up for a few years now and I've had to connect two monitors to one computer many times, which is why I will be perfect to be showing you how to connect two monitors to one computer. Alright, so first off, why having two monitors is better than one. It is easier to multitask. With having two monitors, instead of having to constantly switch tabs and lose your place and start it over, you'll just be able to look over at your second monitor. It also increases workflow and productivity. Instead of having to constantly switch tabs, you'll have a second monitor that you can have multiple applications, multiple tabs open at the same time, and that will increase your workflow and productivity. If one monitor goes down, you'll have a second one. This is especially helpful if your job is working with computers and you're on a time crunch. If one monitor goes down, you'll have no problem and you can just switch to the second monitor. You can also view documents side by side. This is very helpful if you're trying to compare notes, information, or anything else where switching tabs and losing your place could be unhelpful. Another thing, you can have Zoom calls and your material at the same time. This is great to have if you're a teacher or just trying to give an online presentation. Instead of having those awkward pauses and losing your place while you're trying to find where your notes are, you can just look over to your second tab and conveniently have your notes side by side with your Zoom screen. Next, the necessary materials for connecting two monitors to one computer. You're going to need two monitors, of course, and one computer, and you're going to need two cables to connect your monitor to your computer. Not every monitor will have the exact port needed for your cable. You may have to buy an adapter if necessary. Alright, now that you're at this point, you're going to need to find what cable your monitor needs. The most commonly used cable is going to be the HDMI cable, which looks like the picture on the screen to your left. The second most commonly used cable is going to be the display cable, which is the one on the right. This is the one my computer uses. Alright, now that you have identified the correct cable needed for your monitor and computer, you're going to want to insert the cable into your monitors. If you have a HDMI cable, you're going to want to select the port that looks like the picture on the farthest right. If you have a display port, you're going to want to use the picture in the middle. On the computer, you're going to find the port to these cables on the back of your computer. For the HDMI one, it is going to look like the top port circled in red. And if you have a display cable, it'll be the bottom one circled in red. Alright, now that you have your cables plugged into your monitors and your computer, you're going to want to make sure that your computer understands what order your monitors are in. So to do that, you're going to need to go to Settings, find the System, which is circled in red, and then after you do that, you're going to want to go to the Display tab. You're going to see that in the left side of the screen, and the Display tab is going to be on the very top. You're going to want to click that, and now that you see the picture with the 2 and the 1, these boxes show what order your computer thinks your monitors are in. If your monitors are in a different order than what it thinks it is in, you're going to want to click on the box. You can click and hold and drag it to the right or left of the monitor. If it thinks it's in the correct order, your mouse will not seamlessly connect to the second monitor. Alright, now that you've connected the cables to your monitor and computer, what do you do now? I gave everyone handouts and it's going to have a summary of this tutorial and what to do if you have forgotten anything. Also, there's a YouTube channel named Saif Ashraf that has a great tutorial on how to do this also. Alright, so the summary. The materials that you're going to need is going to be two monitors and one computer, of course. You're going to need to find and identify the cables that you need for your monitors. And if your monitors do not have a correct port, you're going to need an adapter. In summary, the materials that you're going to need to connect two monitors to one computer will be two monitors, one computer, two cables, and if necessary, adapters to be able to plug those cables into your monitors. And why should you have two monitors? Two monitors increases convenience of multitasking. Instead of having to constantly switch tabs and find your place, you'll be able to look over to your second monitor. It eliminates the need for constantly switching screens and tabs. There's also a backup monitor in case one stops working. This one is important if you're in a job and you have a computer and one monitor stops working, you'll just be able to switch to your second monitor with no hassle. You can also view documents side by side. This is helpful to compare, copy and paste, and easy reading. You can also have Zoom calls and your material side by side. This is helpful if you're a teacher or giving any kind of online presentation. Instead of having those awkward pauses switching back from your Zoom screen to your material, you can just look over to your second monitor and continue teaching. And finally, the tutorial summary. You're going to need to find necessary cables for the monitors. This will probably be the HDMI cable or the display cable. Next, you're going to want to plug the cables into the corresponding ports in your monitor and your computer. Finally, to make sure that your monitor is aware of the correct order of your monitors, you're going to want to go to Settings, click System, make sure you're on the Display tab, and then make sure your monitors are in the correct order. If they're not, you can just click and hold on one of the boxes representing your monitor and switch it around. Alright, thank y'all for listening to my presentation. Does anyone have any questions or feedback for me?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So you're talking about the advantages of having 2 monitors. Is there a limit to how many monitors you can have if a person gets ambitious?
You can have as many monitors as your computer has ports. Anything else?
So there's never a problem with the mouse going from one monitor to another?
There can be a problem if your settings thinks your monitors are in different places. Let's say you have one monitor here and your computer thinks this monitor is on the other side, your mouse will not seamlessly connect. However, you can just go into settings and then switch your monitors around.
Okay.
Are you able to duplicate your displays versus having 2 separate displays?
I'm actually using a duplicated display right now, connecting my laptop to the screen. Instead of having like a second monitor where my mouse can seamlessly travel across screens, the TV is just duplicating whatever is on my laptop. Alright, thank y'all so much.